talk about visa runs. Visa runs can be very stressful, very worrisome, especially when you've never done it before. I've done it at least 4 or 5 times to Viet and Laos, so I figured I'd share with you guys what I've learned. The green bus is the bus I normally ride. It's one of the cheapest modes of transportation that you're going to find. It'll get you there in the range of 500 baht, a little more, a little less, depending on, how far you're coming. It's not going to take you into Laos, but it'll take you to Nong Khai, which is the border town to Laos. Even though it's pretty inexpensive to ride, the buses are modern and up to date, and so it's a pretty comfortable ride. And you can fly right into Laos. They have an international airport called Wat Thé. I've never flown, but I did a quick search on the internet. It's going to cost you about $100, give or take. It's also possible to travel to Laos by train. This is going to be an option that you can take advantage of if you have a train station in your city or close by. I've taken the train in the past, and well, it wasn't the most comfortable accommodations. It was super cheap. So once you've arrived in Nong Khai or you've arrived in Laos, you're going to go through immigration. You're leaving Thailand, so this is where your departure card is going to come in handy. Many times people lose the card. It's not a huge deal. It's always good. So after you've gone through immigration, they've checked your visa, made sure you didn't have an overstay, they've stamped you out. You're going to go outside into this little waiting area where you can sit and wait for a bus. This is where many taxis and people may try to sell you high price package to take you through the border. It's up to you, but it only costs about 15 baht to ride the bus to the Laos border. You'll know when the bus arrives. It's a small little bus, not really in great shape. All the foreigners will converge on that bus and try to get there ahead of you. It's really small, so you kind of got to move fast if you want a seat. There's also people that mind the area, so they'll tell you when the bus arrives also. Okay, so now once you get off the bus, it's going to be a short ride from the Thai border to the Laos border. Now you're ready to apply for your Laos visa. They're going to have you fill out a piece of paper with your name, your information. Also, you're going to have to pay them for the visa. It's a 30-day visa, so if you choose to stay in Laos a little longer, you can do so. If you bring the money from your country, it's most likely going to be cheaper. Thai baht, it's going to be 1,500. But I'm from America. I bring them $35. It saves me a little bit of money, so it's good to make a trip to the bank before you make your visa run. They're going to take a picture, and then once they gather all your information, you have to wait for about 5 minutes, and they'll have you come around the side of the building, and they'll hand you your information back, and they'll have the Laos visa inside your passport. Once you finish with Laos immigration and you have your Laos visa, now you have a choice to make about transportation. The difference is going to be between air-conditioned and non-air-conditioned. Air-conditioned ride is going to cost you anywhere from 300 to 600 baht. Non-air-conditioned ride can be as low as 100 baht. So you need to bargain with people because they're going to offer you a rate, but it doesn't mean you have to take that rate that they give you in the beginning. Also, there are Laos city buses that are dirt cheap, but you have to kind of know where you're going and be able to give the driver some instructions so you can get to where you need to be. If you happen to be brave enough to want to go ahead and take a city bus and see if you can get to where you're going, it's important to have the Lao currency. So you can get Lao currency at the Lao immigration office. There's businesses around the back that will exchange money. If you forgot to get Lao currency before you got to Laos, don't worry about it. There's lots of places and businesses that will exchange money. If you get through with the immigration process early, you would have to drop your paperwork off at the Thai consulate before 11:30 to be able to pick up your visa the next day. So if you finish by 9, 10, then you can try to hustle and get your way over to the Thai consulate. It does take about an hour to get there, so give yourself enough time so that you can get your paperwork in and be ready for the pickup the next day. So if you were able to drop your paperwork off by 11:30 that same day, you could pick it up the next day after 1:30. They're going to give you a number, and this number is kind of important to hold on to because they have your visa, and this number is what identifies your passport when you go to pick up your paperwork. However, if you didn't make it through immigration in time to make it to the Thai consulate, then just go to your hotel and enjoy the sights around town. Anyone who spent any time in Thailand knows that you find a 7-Eleven, sometimes two, on every corner. Endpoint is the convenience store of Laos. It's not as plentiful by no means as the 7-Elevens in Thailand, but it has similar merchandise. So if you find an Endpoint, you're going to be able to get, your drinks, your snacks, and even some food items. Okay, so once you have dropped off your passport, you're going to wait the next day until 1:30 to come pick up. It only takes about 30 minutes once the visa has been processed. It's not a long wait. The things that you're going to need to drop your visa off, drop your passport off, 2-inch photos. Make sure that the backing is white. Sometimes they'll put a blue backing. That's not acceptable. So make sure you have the white backed 2-inch photos. What I do is I just get a pack of them and keep them, just keep maybe 10 of them, because you're always going to need them for something. Sometimes you need the 1-inch, sometimes you need the 2-inch. Also, you're going to need your address. Sometimes the addresses in Thailand are pretty extensive, so you need to make sure you have that written down so that you can put that on your documentation. Let's see what else. You are going to have copies of your passport. You're going to have copies of your recent stamp that you just got when you entered into Laos. So when you arrive at the Thai consulate, there's going to be people outside that are going to try to get you to, they're going to try to sell you their services. And I got ripped off a few times because I didn't know any better. You don't have to do anything with the people outside. They're very helpful, but they will charge you way too much money for what they're doing. You can get copies made inside the consulate once you enter the gate. Once you walk down that long sidewalk, on the left it's going to be a white building with some steps. They have a copier there, and they might charge you 10-20 baht to make some copies, which is still a little high, but it's going to be much cheaper than you can get outside the consulate. Also, inside that white building, if you go past the copier and you go inside, turn to your left, you're going to see people sitting behind a desk. They're going to be real busy. They might not say much to you. Those people will fill out your paperwork for 50 baht. So that way you can be pretty confident that your paperwork gets filled out correctly. They do it every day, all the time. And so for me, being a newbie, that was just so helpful to just pay 50 baht. They'll fill out the paperwork, attach your photos, and give it back to you. Then you can, when you walk out that building, you can stand in that line that's on the side. There's going to be a couple of people sitting at a table, and you can stand in that side line instead of waiting in the seating area to be called, which sometimes it can be quite a long wait depending on how many people are there. You get fast-tracked a little bit, so it's a little bit of a benefit to allow them to go ahead and pay for the service of them filling out your paperwork. Okay, so let's go over again what you're going to need when you drop off your passport. You are going to need two 2-inch white-backed photocopies. You're going to need copies of your passport. It's good to have two. And you're going to need copies of your recent stamps of leaving Thailand and entering Laos. Let's see. And then your yes, okay, so that's it. So you can get the copies made like I said, there's a white building on the left hand side, and you can get copies made 10 baht each, so don't worry about that. So don't forget your photocopies, because then it's going to cost you a little bit more to get them done. You can get it done, I believe, inside the consulate also. Don't go to the people outside. They're going to charge you way too much. They think that you don't know what you're doing and that they can rip you off. And so just a warning here that you need to be careful. They're used to foreigners who don't know the ropes, and they're used to ripping people off. Okay. You may notice that the food in Laos is going to cost quite a bit more than in Thailand, but Laos has a lot to offer. They have many different ethnic restaurants for you to go and try. They have lots of places to shop, lots of sights to see, so just enjoy the town while you're there.